Okay, hold on. All right. Hey, everybody. This is Ariel with another FanFest Live here at halftime from the US. And I have Charlie from Shades of Blue podcast, John, Ashley from Main Road Ramble, and my colleague, Ben Valdez. Okay, so if anybody's watching, go ahead. Feel free to vent in the chat right now. It's over on the side. And if you want to join, you can, of course, raise your hand. So let's be real. When we planned, hey, Mike Ferguson. Okay, if you're joining the chat and you want to share your thoughts, opinions, whatever on video, you can raise your hand. Otherwise, just type your comments and I'll get to them. One other little bit, of course. Hey, okay, Crunk Chocolate's there. Raise your hand in the chat. We'll bring you on. So just for being here, you'll be entered in a draw to win a kit, but let's just be real. Okay. When we planned to go live, this was not the result we're expecting. We are down 2-0 in the half in a very crucial game for the title race. So I'll start with Charlie. Charlie, how are you feeling right now?
I'm in shock because I was like setting up. I walk away from the TV and I hear Arlo White saying like Bowen, and I'm like, what is going on? And then he scores, and so all of my like hope just went away, and so now I'm just sadly looking ahead to next week.
Yeah, I've been listening on. I'm watching on Telemundo personally. So the second goal call was like, I think I could have brushed my teeth during that. So it did not feel good. John, where have things gone wrong besides Bowen from West Ham getting a brace already?
I think we're missing a lot of pace in the defense today. I think we have been a victim to actually a really great game plan from West Ham today. They have planned to kind of hit us on fast counters, instant balls over the top, and it's worked with them twice. So credit to West Ham where it's due. We need to do more in the attacking third. It's going to be all the harder now because West Ham are going to sit back and have something to protect. So it's going to be difficult.
Yeah, so we have Mike Ferguson in the chat saying not feeling good. Bring on Foden and pick up the pace. Ben, do you think any subs make a difference at this point?
Yeah, I think the two big ones are going to be putting Ake in for Fernandinho in the back because we need pace to keep up with Mikael Antonio. And then, I agree with Mike that Foden needs to come in probably for Grealish. Jesus is in great form right now, and we really need to get a goal here early in the second half to get back into this game.
Okay, so let's be real. Does anybody think that it's actually possible to come back and draw?
Absolutely.
Yes. Yeah? Okay. So what would your game plan be to come back and draw? Because remember, I'm looking at title possibilities right now. If we draw today, we win on Sunday, it's done. Otherwise, let's see, we have Crunk Chocolate. He's trying to come up on stage, FanFest crew, if you can bring him up. So if we draw today or win, it's pretty much okay. We just need 4 points. But then if we don't win today, it comes down to goal differential on Championship Sunday, which is pretty rough. So I'm sorry, I cut you off, John. Go, let's hear your thoughts on coming back and drawing.
I think that we just need to calm down a little bit. We need to, I agree, bringing Ake on and having that pace if he's fit enough to come on. If not, bring Mbete on. I mean, it depends whether or not we're kind of content to keep the goal difference down and not risk losing by more. But I would definitely bring Foden and probably Sterling on as well for the pace in behind. But I'm not sure it'll happen instantly. I think Pep likes to give the offending players, if you want to call it that, a chance kind of early in the second half to rectify the first half mistakes.
Okay, so Crunk Chocolate, also from Shades of Blue podcast, which Charlie is a co-host of as well. We're fixing his feed, but he says, he's typing in the chat, and he says, I feel the same way as John. We need a defender who can defend with confidence. So he suggests subbing out Fernandinho. Charlie, armchair manager, what do you do?
I'm making a double swap around the 60 to 65. I like the combination of Foden and Sterling on the wings as opposed to Mahrez and Grealish because they can go at the fullbacks and free up that space. But I do want to point out that Declan Rice and Souček have been awesome in midfield. Like I think De Bruyne has only had like a couple of opportunities to drive. They've been all around him. So like trying to free up some space for Kevin is going to be really important.
Ben, obviously you're my colleague, but as a fan, how are you feeling right
now? I got my fan cap on right now.
As a fan, how are you feeling right now looking to next weekend?
I'm feeling confident still, solely because of our goal differential, and that will be at home at Aston Villa. But today definitely has caused some nerves, and I've had friends making fun of me saying City's going to choke, City's going to choke. But going into next week, I still feel confident that we're going to win the Premier League.
Okay. Yeah. Adam Cole, let us know where you're watching from, Adam. Adam Cole says Foden is undroppable. He's so important when we get the ball back too. We can't reliably count on Grealish and Mahrez to chase these guys down, meaning West Ham in particular. Crunk Chocolate, nice to see your face on the feed. Okay. What do you think of what Adam Cole just dropped in the chat?
I agree. Foden, we just need people who are willing to push with Gabby. The focus has been way too much on possession, and I feel Pep fell right into West Ham's trap. We knew how West Ham was going to play. We knew they were going to sit back and wait and attack on the counter, and Pep chose a possession-based team instead of just like running at West Ham. Worst case, we lose, and I'd rather us do that in our own terms instead of just like holding onto the ball and hoping we find enough space to score a goal. I feel by now Pep should know that this isn't the way for us to win. Is hope we can get across and some 5'10" person get ahead on it. Like I don't really see how that works.
Now, John, since you grew up in Manchester, now you live in the US. You've been with City through the ups and downs. How City does this feel right now? This scenario.
It feels pretty typical City in some respects, just not making anything easy. And but I just have to remember that being in a title race, being top of the league, is just a privilege in and of itself. This shirt behind me was my dad's shirt from the 1999 playoff final, and so things have been a lot worse. And being 2-0 down at halftime with a 3-point lead in the Premier League is definitely still a pretty good place to be, and a lot of other teams would take that at this point. And like I said, there's still 45 minutes to go. Get an early goal in that second half. I think that we're going to pile the pressure on West Ham.
Okay, and Adam Cole in the chat, because of course you can always participate just by typing if you don't want to be on camera. I understand. I like to be ugly in the morning. So Adam says he's watching from Cincinnati. What's up, Cincinnati? And Bradley Malore, hello. Let us know where you're watching from, Bradley. Let's get away from the copium a little bit. Let's talk about something maybe if we're looking at next week. Charlie, how do you feel about our chances against Villa?
I feel really, really strongly. This is the first time we'll have a full week to train and recover. And I think Pep mentioned that like they haven't had any real training sessions because of the games every 3 days. So I think we'll be fully fit. And Villa plays a lot more open style, or I would say they're not as good at defending as West Ham. So I think goals will be there, and it's at home. And it feels like it reminds me like last year being able to finish it off at the Etihad. So I feel really confident.
Okay, Crunk Chocolate, what about you?
I feel very confident about this West Ham match. So I'd like
really?
Yeah, I did. That I feel strongly about Aston. We should win, but I'm definitely going to be a little more mellow this week going into that match.
Okay, so you felt confident about the West Ham game. Now we're in the situation that we're in. So now you are tamping down your expectations for Villa. Is that what you're telling me?
Just for my own sanity, yeah. For mental health, I think I have to like relax a little bit because I truly thought City were gonna pull through and win, and then next week we could just celebrate and have fun, and Pep could play the youths, and we could just like chuckle the whole day. But now it looks like we're just gonna be pacing for the next 7 days.
Okay, Ben, how are you feeling about our chances at home? How much do you think that makes a difference?
Oh, I think it'll help a lot to have the stadium behind us and the fans there. And I agree with Crunk Chocolate here that going into next week, like, yeah, this sucks. We're down 2-0. I have hope that we'll come back and at least pull a point out of London Stadium. But at the end of the day, I think we're going to win the Premier League next weekend.
Okay, John, Crunk Chocolate, and Charlie, because you all have podcasts. John is the co-host of Main Road Ramble. Charlie and Crunk Chocolate are two of the many hosts of Shades of Blue. I love how many people are involved in all of this. John, give me the hottest take that you all had this week on your podcast coming up to this game. And about the title race.
Well, I think actually the hottest take that I had was that this was the game that I was least concerned about of the 3 remaining.
Okay.
So yeah, that was terrible take on my part. But no, I just to go back to the previous point as well. I do think that that there is something to be said about not just needing a draw going into the last game. I think that can breed complacency. I think going into the last game needing the 3 points is potentially suits City more than just kind of like, okay, we can kind of just play for a draw because we don't know how to play for a draw. We only know how to play for the win.
Okay. All right. Crunk Chocolate and Charlie, let me know what your hottest take was coming into this and going into the next game. I'm trying to get us away from the cope. I feel like we're just mainlining cope and we need to like get off of that a little bit.
I know on the pod this week, I called for a draw. Like I knew West Ham was going to be the hardest because I respect Moyes and everything that they have on the defensive side. So like, I was like, okay, we'll get a draw and then we'll win at home. I did not think we would need to come back from 2 goals down, of course. So all that kind of goes out the window. What about you, Crump?
I was the one, I was like, City are going to win handedly, 2-0, 3-1. In my mindset, it's just because West Ham, they are still need to learn how to win. Like they're still trying to figure out how to be in the top 6. And I thought that this moment would be just too much for them. So I had the worst take on the pod, which is kind of true to my brand.
But it's also an understandable take. Like we just destroyed last game. Like we were in such good form. I know this sucks, but I'm baffled at the scoreline right now. Absolutely.
The one thing that I have to say is that our pattern seems to be when we have an embarrassing loss, we come back with like an extremely crazy win. So you're right. Maybe going into next week, we won't have that complacency. We'll have a bunch of angry guys and we'll, win some crazy goal differential. But the goal differential is still looking good. So I want to remind anybody watching that if we win next week, even if our competitors in the title race win their games, we can still win on goal differential. That's a lot of cope, but it is mathematical. So anyway, we're going to head back to the second half. So Ben, thank you so much for joining. John, Crunk Chocolate, Charlie. John, you can find on the Main Road Ramble podcast. And of course, Charlie and Crunk Chocolate, you can find on Shades of Blue. So thank you so much, everybody, for joining. And we'll see what happens on the second half.
Let's go.
Thanks,
City.
Ari.
Okay, bye.
Go City.